Hey guys, I'm going to do a video today on Carom Shots, and there's a few varieties of Carom Shots. There are Caroms where you've got two object balls frozen together, and you want to carom one into a pocket off the other. There's also Carom Shots where you've got two object balls, and you want to send one object ball off of another, but the balls aren't frozen. Sometimes not even all that close together. And then a third type of carom is where I'm going to carom my cue ball off of a ball into an object ball to make that object ball. And all I've really got here is an iPhone. I don't have a lot of technical stuff to draw lines and do all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to just try to show you these things, and we'll do the best we can. But I'll try to explain it well and kind of understand how all this works. So I shoot that first kind of carom shot where the balls are pretty much frozen. Now, if these balls are frozen together and they're lined up, and you just bisect this angle, do a 90 degrees off the middle of those balls, you can see that the two is almost going in the dead center of the pocket. So if I hit the two just somewhere over here, no follow, no draw, no left, no right, just a nice knuckleball. That two will go right down in the hole. All right. It's like you have to really work to mess it up. And then you'll have times where I'm going to try to set it up the same and make this ball dead. Make this ball dead in the pocket. Yeah, go in there. But I'm going to put low English on this cue ball, which will put high on the 13, and watch what happens. That high English pushed through that second ball that it was and pushed it down table. So very similar to what we did before when I stroked low English and pushed the ball down. I'm going to line these balls up for the center of the pocket. Only this time, I'm going to stroke this two ball, or sorry, my cue ball with high English, which will put some draw on the two. All right, you see how, even though it was dead center, it drew the ball off that line. So you're going to have times, and you got this rack here, right? This rack, and you can't really get to anything, make combo on the 8, anything like that. Well, I've got this 3 ball. I want to make it enough so you got to move it some. All right, so it's coming up into that titty. I'm going to make it just a hair worse. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can go that far. It's millimeters once you get into these situations, and that's pretty good. So it's coming right up, right into here, full titty, hitting the side rail even more than the titty. So I'm up table. My opponent safed me. These balls are not around. I can look at this and say, oh man, that 3's hitting high. Just hitting a little high right up there. But if I understand that I can put some draw on the cue ball and impart follow onto the 3, I can push that 3 down into the hole. All right, you see how far that went? It went clear to the bottom half of the hole. Could have almost missed hitting the bottom titty. Now, again, I'm putting draw on the cue to put follow on the 8 in this situation. I don't know what went last time. But so then I've got this same situation. And sometimes it's not always, but when I've got a ball down here frozen to this 5 ball. All right, now, yeah, it's farther than it was before. Trying to get the same angle so it'll be oranges, apples to apples, whatever. Yeah, that's about right there. I can try to do this same thing. Put draw on the cue ball to put follow on the 8. But because the 5 is frozen to the 13, it won't let this ball push. So I'm going to put draw, try to impart some follow. Did you see that? I put draw, which put follow, but because the ball I was caroming off of was stuck on another ball, it doesn't allow that push by the 9 ball to get out of the way. Sent me way over concussion, really higher than I was even trying to go up into that rack. Right? So again, because the 8 was frozen to the 9, I couldn't get that push. But one more time, without those balls frozen, I can put draw on the 13 or on the cue and push that 13 down into the hole. Now here's a similar situation, but opposite. Now I've got a 5 ball aiming low, right? All right, it's aiming into the titty. If I hit this with no English, I'm going to hit right here, bounce out, right? And in this case, because I'm not trying to push the 5 through the space where the 4 is, because I'm already south of the pocket, the 2 is not going to hinder me because all I'm wanting to do is bring the 5 back this way, right? So I'm going to get a nice high, pop high English on this. See that? So that high English, good rotation, back that 9 or that 5 off of that tangent line, made it possible to put the ball in that hole. So you'll have to work with that. But, there's various places where you can be, and I'm I'm aiming this ball and it's short of the pocket, and a dead center ball hit is just going to put me into the titty, and I've wasted a shot. But here, I'm going to shoot this with some high English, and you see how far that pulled back, right? Pulled back off of that tangent and put me in the hole. All right, that's the first kind of natural carom shots where I've got 2 balls frozen together. I've got to look at where they're lined up, and if it's low, I can draw off that ball and pull it up. If it's high, I can push it off that ball and throw it down by putting the opposite draw or follow on the cue ball. So it's always like gears. If this ball's spinning backwards, it's going to spin that ball forward. And if this ball's spinning forward, it's going to turn that gear, and they're going to connect for just long enough to connect and pull it off of there. Hope somebody will find this helpful. And again, this can come up in other games, but the reason I love straight pull is because these things come up all the time in straight pull, and it's just for me so much more fun to play a game that requires a lot of knowledge about these type things rather than just pocketing balls and knowing how to manipulate the cue ball off the rail to get shape. That we need that in all games. But for the most part, caroms and kisses and throws and all that stuff comes up very seldom in 8 and 9 ball. That's why I love straight pull. So let me know what you think, and hope it does somebody some good out there. Thanks.